Hello, collectors. Welcome to the Big Collector, where we talk about Barbies and other stuff. This is All Talk, where we talk chit chat about Barbies. I'm Vinicius Santana. I'm here as always with the amazing Michael. Hi, Michael. How are you, my friend?
Hello, I'm good. How are you today?
I'm just fine. Actually, I'm really curious to see what you prepared for us today.
I got a couple different subjects and stuff, but um since it's December and it's the holiday, my birthday is next week. So and then after that is Christmas, thank you. And so I got a couple of presents early already. So I thought it would be fun to share those. So see
Okay.
what those
For
look like.
those who don't know, Michael is a huge prototype collector. You can see all prototypes he oh no, all of them, but some important prototypes on his Instagram account. Is that right, Michael?
Yes, Proto Guy 69, and then of course you can always follow me on Facebook. So
Yeah, all his social accounts are down here in the description.
yes, um, so this was for my birthday. This is a sample of I couldn't remember what her last name, but Natalia Vodianova.
Oh, Natalia Vodianova. She's a
Yeah,
huge. Oh, is that the prototype? The one on the
it's a
pictures on
sample.
the.
Yes, yes.
Oh, Natalia is a Russian top model, and
Yes.
this dress is actually made by Gucci, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I thought I'd heard that. Yes. So
And she's
anyway, that
beautiful. She's a beautiful
yeah,
girl.
yeah. And so
Oh, but her jacket is a little bit different from the production doll. Oh my
Yep.
God, it's so much beautiful.
Yeah. I think it looks better
I
with a longer coat, but um they went,
I think so.
with the short coat instead, you know.
Yeah,
So
the shortcut,
any
the short one is was made by it was made in reference to real coats they were
okay.
selling at the time.
Okay. Okay. So
So
and I think like on these samples sometimes I've got several things, that are similar, and they'll do something wrong at the factory, and they're like, and Mattel's like, no, that's not what it's supposed to be. Like, you need to fix that before you put. And I think that's what it is with that coat, is they're like, oh, the coat is
could
supposed to
could
be a
you
short coat.
explain could you explain our viewers the difference between a prototype and a sample?
Sure. The prototype is the first one. So they'll and I got a Christmas present here, and you'll see a prototype here in just a second how it changed. Um, so the prototype is the first one, and they may make several prototypes with little changes to each one, and then once they decide, then they start making samples, and then they'll send it to the factory, and the factory will send a sample back, and at that point they'll critique it or make any changes, like, oh, um, I have one sample doll, and the note back on it was the pupils on the eyes were not correct. So they had to change the pupils. Sometimes the earrings will be different. It'll say does not have correct earrings, or something like that. And so I think that's what happened with this. Was it was supposed to have a short coat, and they made the long coat, and they're like, no, fix the coat, before you do. And then once the samples are approved, um, they usually will get back like six samples from well, I'm sorry, they'll get a sample back, and then they'll get a production sample, and they'll get like six of those, and they all should all be identical. They test them to make sure the hair is rooted correctly, and and then once they get done with those, then they give the go ahead to go into production. Um,
Are these samples made in Indonesia, where the
yes,
factory is,
yeah,
and they are
yeah,
sent back to USA? They are not
yes.
made on Mattel headquarters.
No,
I'm
sometimes Mattel will do, like, they'll do a prototype, and then they'll let's say they change it. there. Then they'll make like a sample of, okay, now we're all set. Now we're ready to go. And then they'll send that to the Orient. And then that's when the manufacturer, the company will make some samples and send them back to Mattel. And then Mattel has final approval, to make sure everything's okay. But um, I know one year there was a doll and they put the belt on the head instead of putting it around the waist because they thought it was a headband.
Oh, that is interesting.
And
Can you
Mattel's
can
like,
you tell
no,
us what doll it was?
no, I can't, unfortunately. Um,
Oh,
but
oh,
there was another doll that had a flip, and the samples came back to Mattel, and they did not realize the hair was supposed to be in a flip, a short flip, and they brushed the hair all the way out.
oh. No,
And they're like, no, no,
that's
no,
a
no,
huge. That's a not
it's
a little mistake. It's a huge mistake.
that's a big mistake. Yeah. And so I kind of think on this coat that, in fact, I have a sample red, white, and warm reproduction Barbie that I got off of eBay from one of my sources, and it's supposed to have a white coat um, that matches the hat and everything, and mine has a pink vinyl coat, and the coat that came
Oh,
on white vinyl with like fur cut. I have a pink one, and they just did the sample and they did it wrong. So anyway, so
this coat on your doll, it looks so much with like the blonde doll.
it does.
The
It looks
blonde
very
doll
much.
have this. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, not the same quality. I will say that the fur is not because I have that blonde style. That's one of the few things is that I own that
The
is a
pink
regular.
one,
The pink,
the
yeah,
pink one.
no, 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 not the pink one. I wish, no. Um, but it's not the same quality of fur. Of course, you're also talking a
Uh-huh.
doll that was like $50 or $60 versus a doll that was 110. So the quality.
Okay,
But anyway,
of
so
course.
that's what I got. So then this is really fun. I think it's fun. Hold on, let me grab her real quick. Okay. Um, this is one of those Barbies that either you love it or you hate it. There is no in between. Okay. So
Okay.
this is the regular version of it. Um, it is
Oh, Bill Blass.
the Bill Blass Barbie. Okay. So there she is. We got the big train. We got the rose on the back.
Is this the production doll or a
She is a
prototype?
production doll. She is a production doll.
Okay, she's so
Okay.
beautiful. She's so beautiful, and the dress is huge. I
It's
also
huge.
have this draw, and it's huge. The box, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's so big.
And I got to stop because I have four other Bill Blass dolls that are samples, and I have
The same
had,
model?
yeah, but they're all different. They're all I have some that have rooted eyelashes that they did not
Oh,
do. Yeah. I have one with an American Girl hairstyle, a side part American Girl hairstyle, um, which they didn't do. They did the short hair. I have one with the short hair that doesn't have the pink streaks in it because she has pink streaks in her hair. So this was my Christmas present.
oh,
This
oh, she's beautiful. I also have one of these.
is the
Oh,
prototype.
oh, with pink hair.
It's
Oh,
actually
I think I like
apricot.
this one better.
It's a pale apricot color.
Really?
It's probably hard to tell, but it's actually an apricot
Yeah.
pinky peach color. Uh, different
Oh, does she have the flower on the back?
has a flower on the back,
Okay.
but
Okay. She's a beautiful
she also
doll.
has superstar arms.
Oh, the production one have straight arms. Is that right?
Yes, yes, she's got the Shawnee arms. Yes,
It's a
and
beautiful
so
doll.
anyway, um, she's got this peachy apricot hair, the superstar body. She has a pink ring, which of course the doll doesn't have a pink ring. Doesn't even have these arms. And anyway, so this was a Christmas present. So
How about the shoes?
The shoes.
Are they
Oh, okay.
same?
No, they're not. No. See if I can-
Oh, pink shoes. I don't
Yeah,
remember the actual color of the
they're
production
yellow.
doll shoes.
They're bright.
Oh,
They're
yellow.
bright yellow. That doll is so that dress is so big it hangs over. She's got these shoes here. Um, the
Oh, yellow.
Sparkle Eye
Right.
Barbie. Yeah, the Sparkle Eye Barbie pumps.
Does the face mode is the face mode the same? Because it
No,
looks like
no,
Maki.
no. It's well on the production when it's Mackie. On the prototype here, it's the Diva head mold,
Oh, Jiva. I was
which
trying
was
to
used
identify it.
then became Midge, as you know. So yeah, but no, it's the Diva head mold instead.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay. Beautiful doll.
thank
Congratulations, my friend.
thank you very much, thank you very much. Lord, let me tell you that, like you said, that dress is huge, and steaming that sucker. I steamed it before the show. I steamed both of them. I just kind of fast, but I actually had the doll sitting up on a riser.
With an iron, you steam it
No, no,
or
with a
with a
steamer,
vapor?
with a regular steamer, yeah. And
Okay.
I actually had the doll sitting on a riser and then sitting on top of a cereal box, so I could like hold the dress out. Because I told Howard, it literally takes two people if you have to steam this thing out. It's so big. I don't think people
It's
realize
big.
it's huge. It's huge.
It's huge.
You know.
My doll is on some kind of how can I say it? It's something. It's acrylic type of box with
Yes.
so I can make the dress straight and see all the
Yes.
beautiful dress it have.
Yes.
I also had to do the same thing with my. I forgot the name of the one with the Rihanna coat from Met Gala on the
Oh,
Chinese
the
designer.
Chinese. Yes. 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 I know
Uh,
exactly what in the yellow dress, right?
yeah, I don't remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, she have this pink dress underneath, but in yellow coat, and the
The
coat,
yellow coat.
it was, yeah,
Yeah,
is
that's
also
huge.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. And like this prototype one will go with the other prototype ones, but trying to find a shelf that accommodates five of them.
It looks like an impossible mission.
Yeah, and so I figured out how to do the risers. So I've got like three in the back and their dresses hang down, and then I've got two in front and their dresses kind of are spread out. But it's a doll that takes a lot of room. Let me tell you, it's a
Yeah,
doll that takes
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of room.
How does she compare with uh, the pink one, the one that is $1,000 US
Pink
dollars
Splendor?
at the lot?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Pink Splendor. How does she
Uh-huh.
compare with Pink Splendor?
As far as size wise, or
Yeah, 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 yeah. With the dress,
it's
like
huge.
the
Well,
dress.
the pink Splendor is, I want to say, probably about another 8 to 9 inches longer
Oh, okay, I
than
use
the train
metric,
on
but
this.
I will try to convert this later.
Okay, if you added a skipper to the end of the dress, that's more.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Not so big as bigger as I imagine.
right. But it's also very wide. Um,
Yeah,
almost as wide at one point where you get to it's almost as wide or wider than the Bob Mackie Empress Bride, because that dress just goes out, like that and
yeah,
stuff like that. So
yeah.
um
I remember.
mine's still in the box because I don't have enough room to display my pink Splendor. It's still in her box. She looks fabulous in there displayed. Her dress is all, laid out and it looks real nice, but I don't have room for it. It's just too big of a dress. So, and I'll tell you a little secret about that doll. Um, the Pink Splendor was originally going to be a classique Barbie. In the
Classic
classique
collection,
Barbie,
really?
yes, yes.
Under whose name?
Cynthia, oh my gosh, I can't
I
remember
don't
what her name
know.
was. Um, oh, what was her name? I can't remember her last name, but anyway, she designed the doll and showed it. And from the story I got was that it was so big and so over the top, And so instead of, oh, Cynthia Young, her name was Cynthia Young.
Oh,
She used to
I
be a
don't know
designer
her.
there. And so from what I understand, it was so big um, that they said, no, it's just too big to do. But Jill Barad said, I love it. We will, we will, we will find a place for that doll.
Oh, I
And
wish we
so it
had
ended up,
Jill
yes, yes,
Baraback.
yes. Good old Jill. So
Yeah. Um,
anyway,
any other prototypes you have to show us today?
no, not today, but there's a few coming up. There's
Yeah, yeah.
my
I know that
my
Michael sometimes hides something from us because, of course, he can't display it. He can show it to us.
right.
So I can see in his face that he's looking like a kid that is hiding something.
Yeah, there's a few more things. I um uh my sources usually, not always, but for my birthday or Christmas they'll send me something, as a thank you gift, for I swear to God I put probably a couple of these kids, these people's kids through college, over the last 25 or more years, so they will send me, a nice gift. Um anything else I get, which there's a few other things that have come, I will definitely share. I promise I will share them. There's things
Yeah,
that everybody can see. So
you can see all he's sharing in his Instagram account. Again, down here on the description, you have
yes,
all information you need.
yes,
So, Michael, let's get into our chit chat, into
okay,
doll talk, actually. So, what
okay.
did you prepare to us today?
Mm. This is kind of an interesting thing, I think. Um, and it's has to do with is do you get dolls for Christmas um as gifts? Will your family buy you dolls for Christmas? Because this,
I never,
yeah.
I'm sorry, you can
Oh,
continue.
oh, no, I was just saying this has come up in a couple of the Facebook groups I've been in. We've been talking about Christmas and gift exchanges, and um, I find it really interesting that some of these collectors' relatives will not buy them a doll. They will absolutely will not buy them a doll for Christmas, which I think is very interesting um, about that. What about you? Do you get dolls for Christmas or?
Actually, never, never, never.
Oh,
All my dolls, okay. Despite a couple of them, all of the dolls I have, I brought myself. Here in
okay,
Brazil, the dolls are so much expensive that it's not present that you would share with other people. So
okay,
Junior actually he buys some dolls, but I rather buy them
right,
myself because I can choose the ones I want.
right,
How about
okay.
you?
Um, Yes. I was very, very lucky with my parents and especially my dad supporting my hobby. So, I, by the time I got out of toys, getting toys for Christmas, um, I had become a Barbie collector. So
Yeah,
the
you told
toys,
us the
yeah.
story.
And so, I did get dolls for Christmas. I did get, a collector, my parents would buy me stuff. My dad would buy me stuff. There was a dealer at the time, and we're going to kind of touch on that too a little bit. But anyway, um, and she would call my dad at work and say, "I know Michael's birthday is coming up, or I know Christmas is coming up," and so he would buy me things for my collection, for Christmas and for my birthday. But I just find it really interesting that these people's relatives refuse. I understand they're in Brazil, like you said, things are very expensive. Um, but we're talking about, like something they want from Toys R Us or Target or Walmart or something, and that their relatives will not buy them any dolls. And I'm just curious how many of our viewers and listeners um, have that happen in their family too, where, um, you know, they,
Yeah.
let's say they want, a Barbie Basics, for $20. But, instead of getting a Barbie Basics, they get a brand new blender, you know,
Okay,
you know,
I think I rather have the Barbie basics.
I would too.
Actually, I I just got my first doll from my mom this year, you know. I
Oh,
never ever gained a doll, and it was quite a gift because it was the Medusa doll from Bill Greening, and
wow.
she is absolutely stunning. And I think that she made up for the years before.
Okay. Okay. Well,
So,
that's good.
and for you guys in the US to have some understanding about how expensive the dolls look to us, for example, uh, the MoMA doll that was released the previous month,
Right.
she was $160, if I'm not mistaken. And here in Brazil, there are some dealers that are selling her for 1,600 reais. That is the Brazilian coin.
Oh,
Uh, that it's more than the average. I don't know if the average, but the low. How can I say the minimum salary?
median. Yeah, median in America, we call it the median income. So
Yeah,
the average.
she, yeah, the mid income in Brazil for a month, 4 weeks, it's uh, 500 reais.
Okay.
So she
Okay.
costs more than most of people here gain in 1 month, in 4 weeks.
Now, let me ask you a question. Um, what about buying Barbies like at your local toy store? Um, how much, like, let's say I'm just going to use a fashionista Barbie here in America, is we pay somewhere between 9.99 and 11.99 for a fashionista. So, how much is a fashionista in your country?
I'm not sure because I'm not really into fashionistas.
Right.
But for example, let me see. The Margot Robbie doll that was released recently with the beret.
Yes, yes.
So she was, I believe, $50 in the US, and on toys stores here in Brazil, she was around 100 and something
Okay.
dollars, US dollars in comparison.
Okay.
In comparison,
Okay. Okay. Because
so
I'd heard
around $2.
around $2. Okay. I'd heard years ago back in the 80s with all the wonderful Brazil dolls, from Estrella, that like let's say here in America, a Barbie would be $12 or $14 for, the lead doll, let's say Jewel Secrets Barbie. We'll just use that. And that in Brazil, the same Jewel Secrets Barbie was like somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 or $50. So it's still,
Yeah,
I'm that's why I'm glad we
I,
got that we become friends and I get to ask you these questions because a lot of people want to know these things, like you know,
yeah.
what's the
On
price?
the 80s, when Estrela, the Brazilian manufacturer of Barbie dolls from the 80s and early 90s, um, when it was selling these dolls, there was another coin here in Brazil. So I don't know how to compare to US dollars.
Oh,
We
okay.
started to have this today coin real.
Uh-huh.
We started having it for around 94,
Okay.
1994.
Okay.
So I don't know how to convert it, but I can say that it was really expensive. It was not something that the average Brazilian could have. Barbie was more like rich people, high
Right.
upper class toy.
Right. Okay.
It was not
That makes
something
sense.
that average kids could have.
Right. That's kind of like here in America with Madame Alexander dolls were for wealthy, well-off children, you know.
Yeah,
Um, and I think that's why Madame Alexander made a fashion doll to compete with Barbie that didn't go over very well. Um, but Madame Alexandra dolls were for wealthy children. They weren't just for your average child, to have a doll, where you could get a
American
Barbie
Girl as
for,
well, right?
uh-huh, yes,
American
yes,
Girl.
American Girl. Yeah, in fact, when I worked at Target, we had a line called Our Generation, which was basically, another version of American Girl dolls, for $25 opposed to paying 125 for an American Girl doll just in a pair of, a t-shirt and a pair of underwear, and stuff like that, so I'm probably a little bit off on that price, but yeah, American Girl stuff is not cheap, by any stretch, so
Yeah, I actually think that American Girl playsets are so much well made, and they don't put a bunch of pink colors. They are more realistic. I wish we had the same type of playsets for Barbie.
yes, yes, I do too. I do too. I mean, I love pink, don't get me wrong, but I do wish that we did get some more realistic things like we did in the 90s when they did
Yeah,
the whole So Much To Do line with some amazing play sets with that had food and furniture and things that looked real, and I really wish we would get some of that now, or get it back, so
yeah.
but
No,
yeah,
unfortunately, we can't. So,
I know.
Michael,
Yes. Oh,
oh,
are you there? Oh, okay.
I thought that you would introduce us to something. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, the camera froze for a second, so I didn't know if I'd lost you
Oh,
there for so anyway. Um, so let's see here. Um, what friend, I'm curious because, Mattel has been bringing back so many friends from the past and everything. Um, what friend or relative of Barbie's would you like to see brought back? We've gotten Alan both uh, in the collector line and in the play line and the Barbie movie line. We've gotten Midge, the Midge face, which is the diva face used for the holiday Barbie. So I'm curious for our viewers, our listeners, what Barbie friend or relative would you like to see brought back?
Ted and Toad. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
Nut.
kidding.
Yeah.
So that may sound a little bit uh, strange for you, but I wish we had the grandma from the Happy Family collection.
Uh-huh.
Grandma and Papa and Grandpa.
Yeah.
They were. We don't have any older people
Right.
here
Right.
with us today, but I wish we had them back. But if we say a name, because I don't remember if they have a name, I actually don't know if they have a name. Uh, I would say that Frenchie
Okay.
would be a name that I would choose.
Okay. Okay.
How about you?
That's well, that's really funny because I had an opinion on who I'd like to see back, but after you mentioned the grandparents, um, I think that would be really nice. And if they used, um, I don't even think you were born yet. So, when they came out with the Hart family grandparents,
Yeah,
the
I
Hart,
was talking about the heart because I
oh, I
don't
thought you
know
said
if
the Happy family.
the one with the
The,
kitchen,
oh, that's
the
the Happy
kitchen.
family. Yeah, Midge and
Um,
Alan, and that's the Happy
yeah, yeah,
family
yeah.
okay. But before that, when we had the Hart family in the 80s, we had the Hart family grandparents. And
Really,
that was
I don't
revolutionary.
remember. I don't remember
They're
seeing that.
amazing. They're amazing. And um the grandpa's got like white streaks in his hair, and the grandma's got um kind of soft brown with some white streaks in the hair, pulled back in a bun, but let me tell you, that doll is pretty damn fabulous when you take her out of that grandma outfit. Um, but I think that would be really nice. In fact, at one time, um, Tammy, Barbie's competitor Tammy, had her parents. Mattel was going to do Barbie's parents in the mid to late 60s. They were going to do Barbie's parents, and I've seen prototype heads for the father, um, but I had not seen um, any of the mother. until one year at Barbie convention, there was a whole room of prototypes and samples, which I thought I'd lose my mind. Um, there were two heads for Barbie's mother that they were going to use in the late 60s, early 70s. And what's really interesting was they were both the twist and turned face mold, but one of them had a black and gray bubble cut, and the other one looked like Mrs. Brady from the Brady Bunch with that shag hairdo. It was
I
like
don't know
short in
her.
front. Oh,
It's not someone
it,
we are familiar with here
oh,
in Brazil.
okay. Well, here in America, the Brady Bunch, we all watched it. I know we did. Anyway, but the mother had like her hair was like short in the front, but in the back it was long and it kind of flipped up a little. Um,
Okay,
it's
I
called
can
a the
imagine.
hairstyle. The hairstyle is called a mullet. Um,
Oh, a
because the
mullet.
hair
Okay, I know a
a mullet.
mullet.
Okay. Anyway, it was a shag hairstyle slash mullet. But anyway, I saw those two heads, and I can remember just my nose pressed up against the glass because I was like, oh my God, why didn't they,
They
do that?
were under a dangerous threat with you looking at these hats.
I was very, yeah. But they were fabulous. But those were going to be the Barbies, the heads for the Barbie mom, and then Mattel just decided not to do it.
And that's something
That's the
strange, don't you think? We never had any Barbie parents on the line. Don't you think this
yeah.
is a little bit
I
strange?
I think it's kind of strange, but I think maybe they do it on purpose to
Yeah, I
like
think so.
keep her a certain age. Do you know what I'm saying? I think they do it on purpose. Um, but Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. Roberts are still going at it because my God, how many more siblings can Barbie have? The last sibling we had was Chrissy, and so uh,
Uh,
baby Chrissy, which Barbie's little sister, so I think they purposely don't have parents um to
I
try
think
to
I read somewhere about they trying not to give Barbie so much relatives in terms of parents and grandparents because they wish kids had more open minds about the creativity, so they could
right.
create more histories with Barbie and don't limit their
So, yeah,
their
that makes
playing.
sense. You know, that totally makes sense. But I can remember when when they did the Hart family grandparents, I can remember us collectors at the time buying multiple sets of those. Um, you could buy them in individual boxes, the grandma or the grandpa, or you could buy a big set that had both of them in it. And I can remember collectors at the time buying two, three, four, and five sets of those dolls because this was the first time we had gotten anything that looked older than, a 25-year-old doll, 25-year-old boy or girl, So I think that'd be nice if we got them back. I was going to say, bring you back as far as a friend. Um, I really wish uh, I am partial to Whitney. I love Whitney. I know you don't like that face, um, this Steffi face,
I'm
but
not a huge fan.
Whitney was a big. I wish they would bring back Whitney. But I'm curious, what our viewers and our listeners, who would they like to see back, in the line? So,
Yeah,
oh, and
and
Christy,
Chrissy, yeah,
yeah,
Chrissy.
bring back
I
Christy.
really like Chrissy and the all Afro-American thing that she brought to the line.
Yes.
Um, about the Happy Family collection,
Uh-huh.
there was for our viewers to know. I believe that most of them already know, but some of them may not know that it was when we had the first and only pregnant doll on Barbie line. It was Midge, even though most people know her as the pregnant Barbie.
Right. Yes. And another doll kind of circling around that. Um, when they introduced the Hart family having another baby, Um, and there is a new arrival. It's called New Arrival set, and it comes with the baby already. They're holding the baby, but how scandalous that was in 19, I think it was 87. Because all you did was you put a smock uh over.
No, it was on the 90s, right?
No, no, in the 80s. In the 80s
They had
for the
another
Hart
pregnant doll
for the Hart
in the
family. The
80s.
Hart family, yeah, the Hart family was getting a new baby. And so all you did was you put like a smock or I don't know if that translates or almost like an apron over her dress and it was big and it made it look like she was pregnant. She wasn't. And
Okay.
I can remember there being newspaper articles about how scandalous this was that they had introduced pregnancy, into the world of Barbie. And, it was just so funny because the doll did not have a stomach that you took off. It was a regular Barbie body, and all you did was put that apron thing over, and it made her look like she had a belly. She didn't, you know.
Uh,
Um,
um, on the movie, on Barbie movie from 2023,
yes.
the they said, "Oh, this is Miji, pregnant Miji," but she was so strange to have a pregnant doll. And I don't think it's strange. It's something that the kids can play with. I believe that is so creative. It
Well,
works with the creativity of the kid.
yeah, I think, now this is just my view. Um, I think that the rest of the world is farther ahead on some of that stuff than we are in America. It's a natural thing. It's a normal thing for people to be pregnant and
Yeah,
have babies. And I think in South America and in Europe and everything, they don't have these hangups like we do. They don't have these hangups about things like we did here in
cool.
America, where I don't know if viewers and listeners remember, but when that Midge came out with the stomach, somebody um, at bought one at a Walmart and they were so upset about that that they complained. And so Walmart, I guess, contacted Mattel and they sent the dolls back and had them take the stomachs off of them.
Oh,
And I guess maybe package it in
so
the
don't buy
package
it
set.
if you don't like.
Don't buy it if you don't like it. I mean, let's face it, there's plenty of Barbies. You and I have talked about this. There's plenty of Barbies that we
Uh,
don't like. We don't
here
buy
in
them.
Brazil, here in Brazil, we call this type of issue first world country issues.
Uh-huh.
That's not something because it's not a big problem. You don't have it's not a problem at all. It's a problem
No.
someone is creating.
Right. And like before we had, that doll, the midge with the belly that came off, in other countries they had a doll that you could buy and I think I can't remember 100%, but her name was like Pregnant Judith and she had a belly that you could take off and there was a baby inside. And then her stomach would be flat. It had like a little spring-loaded thing if I remember correctly. Um but
Even this
but they had that
today,
years.
we still have
I'm
some
sorry, what was that?
pregnant dolls.
Yeah.
Even today, we have some pregnant dolls here in Brazil, not
Uh-huh.
from big companies and not with big names, but you can find them in some
Right.
stores.
Right. But I just, I think that's part of the problem is in America we have a lot of hangups about certain things. And to me, pregnancy is a natural thing, and once again, if you don't like a doll, don't buy it. Don't, you know,
Yeah,
it's just
actually, the bigger problem to me is that she is having a C-section instead of a natural birth.
I don't think I'd like a natural birth. But but
I don't know if
but
you know it, but I am a obstetrician as well.
yes, yes, I
And
knew. Yes, I didn't know if our viewers knew that and listeners knew that too. So but let me tell you, Mattel's tried some stuff. Um, one of the I don't regret not buying things very, very often, but there was one thing I regret not buying was back 25, 30 years ago. I was offered a prototype Ken. And at one point during the early 70s, when it was all, back to nature and all that stuff like that, Mattel was going to do,
sexual freedom.
right. Mattel was going to do anatomically correct Barbie and Ken.
Oh,
And
really?
yes, and I got offered the Ken. But here's something that was really funny was Mattel will use like a base doll. Let's just say they'll grab a Barbie or they'll grab a Ken and they'll modify it, you know, to make the prototype. They'll modify it. What was ironic about this doll that had had the Ken that had the organs. They used a busy hands Ken.
The busy hands. I don't remember that one. What was the? Um, oh,
His hands
oh, oh.
his hands open and close, and that was the base doll that they made the prototype. They used a busy hands Ken.
But the actual genital, was it sculpted or was it
Yes,
from going out
it was
of the
going out.
plastic?
It was going out of the plastic.
Oh, oh. I think that some children may have liked it because uh, you know how children are,
Yeah,
but I don't see how the parents would love or like
yeah. I
that.
mean, I think it was probably so scandalous. Um, but anyway, I just found it really ironic that the base doll that they used to make the prototype was a busy hands Ken. Yeah. Um, and to this day, I still regret buying it. Um, I will
Uh,
not show it. I will not show it, but Mattel will do some gag gifts for people, for employees, for their birthdays or whatever. They will do
yeah.
some gag gifts. I do have, and it came from a former Mattel employee who retired, um, a anatomically correct Barbie and Ken.
Oh, was it Jack Ryan? Because I can see how Jack
No. This
Ryan
was
would love that.
Yeah, no. This was years. No. This was somebody that probably retired in the last 25 years or so. Um, and they
You
have
know,
some parts.
how about Barbie? Was she the anatomically correct Barbie? Does she had their the I don't know how
Yeah,
to say that
yeah,
without.
she does. She does.
Okay. I got it. I got it. Oh, and I don't know if you're aware of that, but at first they didn't know if the nipples should be on the Barbie breasts. So they tried some samples, and in one of the meetings with Ruth Handler and Jack Ryan,
Yeah,
he took this hand, how nail polish, is that the
yes,
correct name?
yeah,
And
uh-huh.
he scrubbed the nipples of the doll so they could see how the doll was without the nipples.
Yes, I've heard that, and um, I don't know how many of those got. Some of those definitely got made because I've seen in all my years of collecting, I've actually seen some of those dolls. I kind of think that they maybe started doing it and then they realized, oh no, we better not do this because I have seen some bars clearly that have 60s. So I know about, the nipples, but I don't know what happened because there are some of those dolls, some of those vintage ponytail Barbies um, that have shown up that do have nipples. They're not prototypes, they're not samples. So I don't know if somebody was, messing around in the factory or what was going on. So, you know,
Actually, if you we didn't had any adult dolls before Barbie, so I
uh,
can see why they were trying. Not
right.
a big deal, but it is an interesting story.
Yeah, it is. Well, and then if you've read about Jack Ryan, he was, you
Yeah,
know,
that's why I thought
right.
it was a Jack Ryan gift
Yeah.
because of
No,
his
no.
inclinations.
His
I can
inclination.
say that.
No, this was an employee that probably retired 25 or 30 years ago, and um, I bought him probably about 2 years ago. I bought him, and I have a whole section that I'll show one day, and it's all my dolls in lingerie and sleepwear, and so that's where they are.
And jock
But they,
strap. I get it.
uh, yeah, there's a Ken in one of those that apparently they were gonna, I don't know, uh, but anyway, uh,
Okay. We're again in sharky waters, like
yes,
you
Sharky
say
Waters, like you
often.
said, Sharky Waters, yes. Um, and then, um, this kind of an interesting thing. Has any of the viewers, and I don't know if you've experienced this or not, but have you ever had a problem with a dealer that they won't sell you something? This happened to me years ago. Enchanted Evening, all my friends know. Enchanted Evening is one of my most favorite Barbie outfits ever done, ever done.
She's
And
beautiful.
so I wanted, I had a friend, or a friend, um, who was also a dealer, and she bought a collection, and in there was an Enchanted Evening that was still sewn to the card. It didn't have the outer rim, but it was still sewn to the card. And so
Like the
anyway,
backdrop?
yeah, the backdrop, yes, yes. And so I wanted the outfit, and I knew she had it for sale, and I wanted the outfit. And she told me she would not sell it to me because I was not advanced enough to buy it.
Advanced in
Uh,
terms of collection? You
yeah,
were like a
yeah.
kid in
And
collection?
and and yeah, and the thing was, I had been a collector at that point for probably about 4 or 5 years. I had a decent Barbie collection. I think I told before, by the time I was 16, I had 500 Barbies in my collection, you know. Um,
Whoa.
so yeah. And that included, a number one, because that's what I got for a eighth grade graduation present from my dad. Um, so I had plenty of, knowledge, and stuff. Anyway, she refused to sell me the outfit, and I was crushed because I was like, wait a minute, why won't you sell this to me? My money is just as good as anybody else's money. And so she wouldn't sell it to me. And she said I wasn't advanced enough to own that outfit. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding. And I cried. I'm not gonna lie, I cried. I remember getting off the phone and I was crying because I was so hurt. And I
Oh.
told my mom and dad, and they're like, well, she shouldn't have done that. And I said, okay. And so, ironically, I worked for this dealer. I actually worked for her and did doll shows for her. So we have a doll show, and how it worked was, um, somebody would buy something. I would take it over to the money to her. She would write up the receipt. I would put it in the bag. She would make the change. I would give the change back to the customer. So anyway, I was like, I'm getting this outfit. So I walked over and I had the outfit in my hand with the money. And so she took the money and she made change and she wrote the receipt and I put it in the bag. And she said, "Oh, who bought this?" I said, "Me." And she just like
Slay!
froze. Yeah. And this is also, um, I started in this very young. Anyway, this is also a woman that I bought a living Tiff, which is Skipper's friend, very hard to find. And I bought the doll from her on a payment plan, and the doll was $325, which was a lot of money, even for an adult. That was a lot of money at the time. And I bought it on a payment plan. I paid her for the doll 4 weeks later. I paid her. The doll was paid off in full in 4 weeks. And she actually said to me, "Oh, honey, where did you get this money?" And I said, which to me was like none of your business. I got the money. I was getting an allowance. I was also sometimes selling things on the side, pieces from my collection that I was a duplicate. And she said to me, "Honey, no doll is worth selling drugs to get money to buy it."
Most of them don't worth it.
And I said,
Most, not all.
and I said, "What?" And she said, "Honey, and I said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "I'm not selling drugs. I've never sold drugs." But she accused me of selling drugs to make the money to buy that doll. And that was pretty much the end of that friendship that day after the show. Because once again,
But
I had for her.
I'm curious, how did she react when you told her that you brought the doll?
Well, she knew I bought it because I had. I had made a payment plan with her, so I
No,
had
no,
made a
no.
payment.
The first doll, when you were working with her
Oh,
on
she
a
was
selling.
she was just for the outfit, and it was the same woman. It was the same dealer, um,
Yeah,
for the outfit, and
I'm
she was
curious about
shocked.
how she reacted.
She was shocked. She just looked at me, and she was not happy. But I was like, "Hey, it's on the table. It's on the table for sale. It's free. Anybody can buy it." She was not happy with me that I had done that, but I wanted that outfit. I got it. But I was that hurt me when she told me that. But then a couple years later, when she accused me of selling drugs to pay for that doll, I was like, "You've got to
Far
be kidding
worse.
me." Far worse. And that was
But
the end of the friendship that day after that show. I was
can't you? Of course, you about the drugs. No discussion on that. She was just awful. But in terms of the first thing you tried to buy from her, the outfit, the Enchanted
right.
Evening outfit, uh, can't you today um, somewhat understand why she did and why she said what she said?
No, no. The fact that I had a really nice collection. I had been a collector for
No,
5
no, no,
years.
no, not
Oh,
that. But the not in terms of selling, underviewing you like a collector, but in terms of getting a precaution to whom she was selling. Am I
right.
making myself clear?
Yeah, I think so, is about deciding who could buy things. Is that what you mean? Like her
Yeah,
making yeah. Um,
because I think that she was just worried that the outfit could lose its originality,
uh-huh.
or maybe that someone could destroy it. She was just worried about the destination of the outfit.
Well, the thing was, at that point when I tried to buy it from her, um, she had been in my Barbie club, and I had known her for like 3 years. I had known her for like 3 years. I had worked for her at doll shows, helping her run her booth at doll shows for 2 years at least. So, she knew who was gonna get it. She knew my collection. She'd been to my house during I hosted the Barbie club meetings at my house. So she knew what kind of collection I had. Um, she knew, uh, there were other people in my doll club at the time that were just scatterbrained and just,
She
they
just
didn't own any
don't didn't
books and
value you enough.
right, right. But she knew I mean, she knew who I was. It didn't. Here's the key thing to this too. It never stopped her from calling my father to sell him stuff for my birthday and Christmas, expensive stuff. It never stopped her
Oh,
doing that. But anyway, um, I was happy as I could be with that outfit, and um, but I just wondered if any of our viewers and listeners have ever had an issue with a dealer where a dealer won't sell them something, um, because they don't think that that person should own it or deserve it or anything like that. I'm just curious about that, so.
in my case, I never had this type of issue, but I think it was because I never had any doll when I was a kid, or
Right.
when I was growing up as a teenager.
Uh-huh.
But as adults, I never, ever had this type of issue, even
Right.
though I have this issue myself. Not that I am a mean person like this lady you just
Uh-huh.
told me, but
Uh-huh.
I have this concern about where my collection is going when I'm not here anymore. And
Right.
that's why I don't want my collection to be sold. I want it to is donated for the people I know will take care and love them as
Right.
much as I do. I don't want
Right.
my dolls ending up on kids' hands, Like,
Right.
can you imagine my Marie Antoinette getting brushed away? And that's
Right.
the type of concern I have.
Yeah. Well, I don't think. Um, not that, and God forbid that happens, but I think that probably your stuff would not fall into the hands of children, because I think enough people know, looking at your stuff, oh, this is not a fashionista. This is something, so, but I can see your concern, I know I have several things in my collection that have tags to go to certain people because they've, admired it, whatever. Um, but I can understand that. I mean, I can understand the concern, but with this woman, I was a collector. It wasn't like I was some kid off the
Yeah,
street, you know. So
yeah.
anyway, but I just wondered if
She was
anybody has
just
ever
me.
had that. Yeah, I just wonder if anybody's ever had that issue as well with dealers, um, you know, uh, not wanting to sell them something because they don't think they're advanced enough or good enough or whatever, the case may be. So, but and
A
let me ask
couple
you.
years ago,
Uh-huh.
a couple years ago, we had this newspaper here in Brazil that had this news, of course, about a girl that was collecting. It was not Barbie. It was some type of action figure,
Uh-huh.
hero action figure, and someone visited her, and the kid wanted to play with the toys she had, the actual figures she had, and she didn't allow it.
Uh-huh.
So the mother of the kid yelled at her and said that it was a toy and the kid could not be. Uh, how can I say that, Michael? The mother was angry because she
Uh-huh.
didn't allow the kid to play with the doll, with the
Right.
action
Action
figures.
figure. Right.
Okay, yeah, and she said to the girl that she shouldn't be playing because she was an adult. She shouldn't be having these toys,
Right.
and that she should have allowed the kid to play. And if it was broken,
Uh-huh. Broken. Or if it got
then
broke.
she could pay for another one. And she didn't understood the collectible word
Right.
and how some things cannot be replaced.
Right.
And I believe that you said to me that people would see the value in the collection and see that it's not a stuff for kids to play with, but
Right.
I can see some people trying to grab some of my dolls when I'm not here, when I'm dead, so they could
Yeah.
give it to to their children.
Right. I can see there being some people that would, but I can I can also see, I think that the world is a lot more aware nowadays of collectible things. So I think looking at some of your things, they'd go, This is not a fashionista. This is something, I better find out what this is." Or um, yeah, there's still those people, that don't care, what it is. I know when I worked at Target, and we would have some of these high high end limited edition action figures or stuff, and they would just buy it for their kid, and not knowing or not realizing, oh, this is a $50 action figure, um and they're toy, and you can spend your money on whatever. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money, but there are some of these, and that kid's going to go home and tear that thing up, uh but I do agree there are some of those people out there that still don't get it, but I think there's a lot more people nowadays that do get it.
I remember seeing, I don't know if, of course, you remember about the Moschino dolls that
Yes.
they first bath, they were in this black outfit, and I
Yeah.
remember seeing Madonna, some of the Madonna kid, I don't know which one.
Both of them both of them they both had those Moschino dolls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking, oh my God, this is a platinum Barbie. There are
Right.
two less of these dolls in the world, and
Right. Right. Although I gotta say, I remember seeing that, and me thinking, probably Madonna knows how much she paid for those, and those kids probably did take care of some of the things, you know. But I remember laughing because I can remember thinking, there's collectors that can't even get a hold of one of those Moschino dolls. How in the world did she get two of them? Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
you know, I mean,
I,
nothing
I
against
can
her, you
see
know, but
Moschino, the Moschino brand itself, handling
yeah,
her the dolls. But
yeah,
anyway, my problem with this was I was thinking there are two less of these dolls in the world. There were so rare, and
right,
two of them were
right.
destroyed, probably.
Right, right. But they may not have been destroyed. Who knows, you know? Um, I like to think that they probably weren't, you know, but like you said, there's two less of those dolls, you know, in the world. So yikes. You know, and my another Moschino thing is when they did a Moschino doll and it was in pink and they
They
gave
made
those
two.
out. Yeah, they gave those out to um it was
Matte.
the first pink one. It was the first pink one they did. Um, they gave those out to people that were at the Moschino fashion show. Oh my God.
Weren't the matte? They won.
No, not the
They
one from
gave
the Met. No, not the one from the Met, the one before that
the
one.
first one.
The first one. They gave those out to people at the Moschino fashion show. And
Yeah,
that was like, oh my God, because you know those were destroyed. You know those
of course
people,
they were.
you know.
They were.
Um,
They
but
handled
you know,
that dolls to their children.
right. If that, or if they didn't throw them away, you know, which would kill me. You know, that would
I don't see anyone throwing a Moschino doll away. People think that holiday dolls are worth it something, so I can't see anyone throwing them apart.
yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Maybe storing them in some
right.
shelf
But
or
like let me tell you a story. I got and I think I may have shown it. I got that Mattel hair sample book that has all of the swatches of the colors of hair that Mattel uses.
no, never
And
showed it to me.
oh, okay, I'll have to show it to you. I bought that on eBay and the guy, I was the only bidder, and the guy said, "Oh, and I said, "Oh, I'm so thankful. You know, thank you for it arrived. It was fabulous." You know, and he said, "Oh, I'm so glad somebody bought it. I was going to put it in the trash last week, but I decided at the last minute maybe I should put it up on eBay."
Yeah, no,
And
yeah, yeah. I can see why you were just stunned by this,
I
but
was like,
a Moschino doll, people can see a lot more how this doll can be valuable than maybe a book of hair
yeah, yeah,
types
maybe. I
and
hope so,
colors.
but there's a lot of stuff that gets thrown away or where there was another thing I bought when they came out with the My Scene Goes Hollywood, um,
I
and they
remember
had
the
the
collection.
premiere and everything, and they did a special Lindsay Lohan one that comes in a gigantic, and I mean gigantic, star-shaped box. It's a huge
Yeah,
star-shaped box.
yeah, I
I bought
remember.
mine. I bought mine, um, and they were only given out at the premiere, and it's and when I bought mine, the guy I bought it from was a security guard at the premiere, and after the premiere, these dolls, people just left them, and they were going to get thrown away because people didn't take them, and he took one. He asked his boss, could he have one? They're like, yeah, and so he took one, but they were all going to get thrown away because the people at the premiere just didn't care. And I'm like, "Oh my God," you know? And they're numbered too, because it has a number uh on it. But anyway, they just
Really?
yeah, they didn't care. They
I didn't know
didn't.
they remember it.
Yeah, on this one, because it was for the premiere. So it's in, like I said, it's in a big, huge gold star. Um, the box is probably about, I think it's like 20 inches wide. I mean, it's a huge box. Um, and anyway, But the guy, once again, he was a security guard at the function, and he said people just left him. They were giving him out, as a special premiere thing, and he said there were stacks of them. People just left there and just they were going to get thrown away. So he asked his boss, could he have one? So
Oh,
I like
interesting
to think that
story.
people would
Uh,
know. I would like to think people know, like the Moschino. They'd go, oh, this is a Moschino. I better not get rid of this.
do you have any of the Moschino dolls?
I do not. I do not. So maybe,
They are some of the regrets I have.
yeah, yeah. I keep hoping that, maybe one day a prototype or a sample one will show up and cross my direction, so um, you just got to hold out
I don't
hope.
think you're telling me everything behind this
No, I am. No, I
Moschino.
am. I am. No, no, I'm telling you everything. I promise. I promise. I'm telling everything. But um, if
Okay,
you
okay.
yeah, no, no, honestly, I don't have one. So I hope one turns up, one day. So I'm just I'm just keeping the faith that, one day I'll come across one, or well, like and I know you love her, that Karl Lagerfeld doll. I never
Oh my
thought
God, such a regret to not
I
having
never
this
thought
doll.
and I remember when that doll came out thinking it was really great. Little did I think, 2 years later, I would have the hand painted prototype of it. I mean, so I just
It
keep
it part. It's just a part of the collecting
yeah,
lifestyle. You're
yeah,
having
it
some
is, yeah,
regrets, and maybe
yeah.
someday it will pop up somewhere.
Maybe. I just, so I'm just, keeping my fingers crossed that, a sample or prototype Moschino crosses my path one day. So who knows? Maybe Madonna's kids might
Who
need some
knows?
money one day and sell their Moschino dolls. I don't know. So
Or just throw in the trash where we are near at, and we
maybe,
can got them. Maybe.
maybe. So
So,
let's see
Michael,
here.
do you have one last question for us? Because our
Um,
show it's around 1 hour and something, and I think that we
um,
may have another question. How about that?
um, Not another question, but something really interesting. Um, is Mattel, I don't know if they still do it, but back in the day, this is just kind of a fun fact, not really, is they used to have these meetings called blue sky meetings. And anybody from any department in Mattel could present a toy idea. And so back in the um, late 90s, early 2000s, they were going to spin Teresa off into her own separate line. And somebody presented
Oh,
the idea, and there was going to be Teresa, a boyfriend for Teresa, a younger sibling for Teresa, and this kind of circles about what we talked about earlier, and her parents.
oh, that's
And
interesting. I
I
never
had
knew
and
that.
and I had heard
Never heard of that.
that they were going to use the Rosie O'Donnell body for her mother.
Oh, not a body that I like,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
but they were gonna use,
There are
so
not enough
I don't know if that's
clothes.
true, but anyway, just a fun fact that Teresa, was and still is. Teresa's very popular. One of Barbie's most popular friends, I think Christy is probably the most popular friend in Midge. But anyway, I just thought that was a fun, interesting
I think
fact that they
Midge
were, yeah,
is the
that they
one.
were gonna spin Teresa off into a whole separate line. Um, and they did that, they've done that before where they've had a friend, and then what I always think is very interesting how they introduce things is they'll introduce a friend into Barbie's world, and then once they make that connection, they spin it off into a separate line. Um, they did that with the Hart family. In the very beginning, the Hart family boxes said Barbie's, I think it said Barbie's neighbors or Barbie's friends, the Hart family. And then once they got established, they they were their own separate things. They did that with the Sew and Style dolls. Grace was Barbie's friend, and then they spun Grace off into the Sew and Style line. So I always think that's really interesting how they make that
The
connection
opposite also
first.
happened, right? With,
Yes,
for example, I believe the Shani dolls, they were
the Shawnee dolls.
separate,
That was another thing. They
and
were
they,
Barbie's. It was Barbie's friend Shawnee, and then once that got established, yes, they spun, Shawnee off into her own world. So I always think that's very interesting. Uh, what they think about, and, what they do, or sometimes what they don't do. That's
yeah,
the thing
what
that gets
they
me
don't
too
do.
is what they don't do.
Yeah,
So
and me and my friends that we were talking about. I believe that working at Mattel must be amazing because you know how much of these histories we don't know. If these are the ones we know, how
right,
imagine how many we don't know. And this week we were talking, me and my friends and some friends of mine that I have here in Brazil, and we were talking about how one of the Mattel designers, one of Barbie's designers, um, he have this dream job. He have all these dolls that are handled to him to work
right,
with, and looks like he didn't value his job and the work and the legacy Barbie have.
right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's just a
And
job.
looks like a waste. Yeah, it's just a
Yeah,
job.
it's just a job. Well, like I'll give you a really good example um, of it of having a passion for it versus it just being a job is me working at Target. I was in charge of that toy department, and let me tell you, I love that job. And in fact, a couple days ago, we were at the gas station, and I was filling up the car, and this woman said, "Oh my God, Michael, how are you?" And I said, "Oh, I'm good." She remembers me from helping her find stuff at Christmas at Target. I loved helping people. And I know one day I was helping uh, a customer, and then another customer came up, and this another customer came by, and she said, if you need anything, Michael is the person to help you, because I knew that toy department backwards and forwards and upside down. And I still run into people that recognize me from helping them. And one lady came one year and she said, "You helped me last year. Can you help me again?" I said, "I sure can. What do you need?" And so, and I, because I had a passion for that job, um, I, where some of the other people I worked with, it was a job, and so I think that, like you said, working at Mattel, I think some people have an absolute passion for it, passion for the doll, passion for fashion. Um, and I think other people just think of it as a job. It just,
Yeah,
they're going to work,
and
they're
even
collecting
worse,
paychecks.
some people sees it as a way of showing off his problems. I don't know if I'm being uh, like, for example, showing how he or she, I don't know, don't care about fashion at all, and how he can shock the collectors and the viewers, and
Right.
this type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, it's just a job. It's not like you. I'm going to use you as an example, you being a doctor,
I
and
love my job.
you have a passion for your job. I can
I
tell.
love
um,
my job.
a lot of viewers a lot of viewers and listeners probably think that Vinicius and I just talk like this. No, we don't. Vinicius and I message each other all the time. We send voice messages to each other. Vinicius has a passion for his job. He loves his job. He's not
I
just
love.
Lord knows, because I've, been to doctors where they're there, they don't have a passion for their job, and
I
so
love
I
my
think
patients. I love what I do. And sometimes it hurts a little bit because I work with cancer patients, and
yes,
sometimes I lose them, unfortunately. But the time I am with them, it's worth it. The work and the ones I can help,
yes.
totally worth it. I love my job.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think that makes such a difference uh, in how happy you are in life and how happy you are at your job. I worked
Totally
there at
agree.
Target one day. There was a girl, and it was Black Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving, where all the sales happen. And so I was
The
going in
best
a door.
day on our
Yeah.
year.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. That and the day after Christmas, you know. Um, and so this girl was coming out of door and she almost ran into me and she said, um, oh, I hate, people. And I'm like, you're working in retail, you're working in a store, and you don't like working with people. Like what? And she said, oh, I don't like this. And I was like, once again, you're working in a retail store during the holidays. And she goes, oh, and my other job. I said, what is your other job? Oh, I'm a waitress. And I'm like, so let me get this right. You work retail, you don't like people, and you're a waitress and you don't like people. No wonder you're miserable. Go find a job,
Yeah,
you know. But
miserable is
she
the
was
word.
just, there's plenty of other people that like helping people, like you, Venetius, like me, helping them in the toy department. Um, there's plenty of people, that like interacting with people. Howard says, I don't know if Junior says this to you, but Howard says, I'll talk to a tree stump if it stands still long enough. I'll talk to anybody because I like people. I like interacting with people. So, uh,
Me as well. I love interacting with
yes,
people.
yes,
And you can see that in our collection, right, Michael? Because
yes,
if
absolutely.
you think about that, it's just plastic and fabric. What
Right.
makes them so unique? It's the people that are behind it. They
It is.
represent people. So
Yes.
we love it. We love
We
people.
love it. We love it. We love people. We love our dolls. We love people.
We love people. Well, that's a huge message to end our show with.
Yes. Yes, it is. So, well, I want to wish everybody happy holidays, and I hope you all have a great new year. And uh, Venetius and I will keep doing this, and we've got some really cool stuff coming up in the new year. So, stay tuned. That's all I
Yeah.
can say.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Thank you,
All right.
Michael.
Thank you so much again, Venetius. You have a great day.